Good morning, everyone. And I don't always read my remarks, but this is an important piece of legislation, and frankly, one of the most important that we have created during my time in council, as mayor, rather. And I say for this reason, we are committed to making Kansas Cityans safer every day. Earlier in my term, we introduced ordinances relating to the possession of firearms by minors. And I think that was a good piece of legislation that got guns out of the hands of young people. Today is an important additional step that we're taking. And it started from a visit to Rose Brooks, as we noted, probably about a month and a half ago. During that visit and in conversation with the outstanding leadership that you all have here, they talked to me, they taught me about the danger of the presence of firearms in the hands of those who have either been convicted of domestic violence offenses or have had restraining orders issued against them. Our goal today is very simple: to make people safer, to make our entire community safer, and to make survivors of domestic violence safer. So a few things that I want to note in connection with what this ordinance will do. I want to first also thank my own staff. Jane Brown, general counsel in my office, did outstanding work in connection with this ordinance. And Connor Swanton, a fellow in my office, did outstanding work as well. And I'm proud of the fact that we are introducing this during Domestic Violence Awareness Month. That is not lost on us, that we want to make sure that never in Kansas City do we think that this is just something we will get used to, because it's not. And we will try to make sure that we can save every life possible. And so I thank all of you for that involvement. So what are we doing? I'm introducing an ordinance that will create a municipal violation for the unlawful carrying of firearms in Kansas City by anyone who is subject to a restraining order that's been issued by a court or is convicted of a crime of domestic violence, misdemeanor, or felony. Because no one who resorts to violence in a romantic relationship or otherwise should be able to carry a gun, and that's simple. This is one more step in a series of actions, as I noted, that we're taking in my administration to combat gun violence and violent crime. And I want to thank Rose Brooks for their leadership, for their research leadership, in helping us craft this ordinance and helping folks in Kansas City, survivors of domestic violence, stay safe. What we'll do, and I'll note the two different steps. One is if you have been adjudicated guilty of an offense of domestic violence, you will not be allowed to carry a firearm. So what does that mean our police are able to do? They're able to arrest someone who is carrying a firearm, even if they've been convicted only of a misdemeanor relating to domestic violence. They'll be able to remove that firearm from that person and seize the unlawful firearm in that situation to take that out of the hands of the abuser. For someone who has had a restraining order issued, we'll find that they also could not possess a firearm. The restraining order must have included a finding that the person represented a credible threat to the physical safety of that person's intimate partner. There also would have had to have been actual notice of the restraining order as well, basic legal requirements. So we're making sure, while there is some due process, we're also making sure that if there has been a restraining order issued, that person cannot possess a firearm. And I think that one of the things that's most exciting about this, if you looked at our earlier gun ordinances, the city of St. Joseph, the city of Independence, now the city of St. Louis, have introduced ordinances that have been modeled by the Kansas City legislation. That's exciting, because what that tells me is throughout the state of Missouri, even if there is an action in the state legislature, we're taking action that is protecting thousands of Missourians, and I am exceedingly proud of that. This Friday, I'll be meeting once again with the mayors of Springfield, Columbia, and St. Louis, and I look forward to sharing this ordinance with them so that survivors of domestic violence in all of those cities throughout Missouri will be safer. I'll share this again with the folks in Independence and St. Joseph, and I'll hope, frankly, that every municipality in Missouri that is interested in protecting survivors of domestic violence follows our lead in Kansas City in adopting an ordinance like this one. I want to say thank you once again to Rose Brooks, and thank you to all of you who advocate each day for survivors of domestic violence, for the families that are touched, and for the unfortunate victims of domestic violence-related homicides.